buses. The buses would also be fitted with global positioning devices. Parents or school officials could log into the school's website to see whether and when specific children had entered or exited which bus, and to look up the bus's current location as provided by the GPS device. The American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, has criticized the plan as an invasion of the children's privacy and a potential risk to their safety. There's absolutely no need to be tagging children, said Stephen Brown, Executive Director of ACLU's Rhode Island chapter. According to Brown, the school district should already know where the students are. This is a program, a solution in search of a problem, Brown said. The school district says that it has current plans no different than other programs already in place for parents to monitor their children's school experience. For example, parents can already check on their children's attendance records and what they have for lunch, and District Superintendent Rosemary Krager. Brown disputed this argument. The school is perfectly entitled to track its buses, he said, but in a huge leap to monitor children themselves, he raised the question of whether unauthorized individuals could use the easily available RFID readers to find out students' private information and monitor their movements. Because the pilot program is being provided to the school district at no cost, it did not require approval from Rhode Island Ethics Commission. I find the story very interesting. Tracking the children will, of course, have some good sides to it. Some people will be for it, and giving them a feeling of security. But this is another step in incrementalism, to slowly track and shift the population. Already your cell phone and other items track your routine, so it is a slow process until we accept for all what they are doing now on a much smaller scale to school children in Rhode Island. Now as a supposed pilot program or test case, I say we reject Big Brother's attempt to enslave us with national IDs, with thumb scans, with tracking devices, and with a host of cameras watching our every move, as city after city is now following the model of London, where the average citizen is filmed 300 times a day. If you'd like to call in, phone number is 704-873-1400 and 336-499-0681. Iran has urged the OPEC member states again to convert their cash reserves into a basket of currencies rather than the tumbling U.S. dollar. Speaking at a ceremony to open the 29th ministerial meeting of the OPEC Fund for International Development, Iran's President Ahmadinejad repeated his proposal made about 6 months ago in a rare summit of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries Heads of States. He said the fall of the value of the U.S. dollar is one of the pressing problems of the world today. He further expressed concern over the adverse effect of the dollar depreciation on the international community, especially energy exporting countries, through increased the price of commodities like wheat, rice, and oilseeds. Ahmadinejad said that he warned 6 months ago in the summit conference in Riyadh that there were many indications pointing to continued fall in the value of the greenback. And we see that this continues to happen, and the resources and the wealth of OPEC member countries have been hugely damaged. I again repeat my previous proposal. We should have a basket of different international hard currencies as the basis. We'll have a phone call. Hello.
Yes, sir. Is this Fred?
Yeah.
Hey, Fred. This is Mike from Statesville. How you doing?
Hey, good, Mike. How you doing today?
Oh, doing all right. Hey, I just wanted to call in and commend the interview with Mr. Means on the Cody Indians.
Had you ever heard anything on that before?
I had heard it in the past, but that it was very little. It was very little.
Yeah, very little press.
Yeah, well, that's typical. That's typical right there, Fred. But it would be a pleasure to hear more of our southern ancestors start getting that frame of mind concerning the atrocities that the government's carrying on against us.
Yeah, I thought that was some good information. We intend to follow that story in the future and keep reporting that to the people. What do you think about Dennis Kucinich's impeachment process?
Well, I think it's a good idea, but I don't think the powers that be won't let that go nowhere.
Yeah, it'll end up being more symbolic than anything else, probably. But he's
they tried to do it to Clinton, and that didn't happen, and it won't happen to Bush either. Maybe. They're all birds of the same feather, so they'll stick together.
Well, I heard that. Well, I appreciate you calling in today. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, sir, just keep up the good work, Farron. I hope they give you more radio time in the future.
All right, well, thanks for calling in.
Have a good day.
People, we've been reporting this. Our currency is in trouble, and these people know it. I understand they dislike America, but the fact is our country turned from our currency. Our currency will be further disabled if they turn from our currency. And neither presidential candidate even acknowledges this subject, little to none. Our currency is backed by absolutely nothing, and we are the world's largest debtor nation. There is no shortage of oil. Increasing production will have very little effect on our gas prices. Our dollar has been slowly devaluing. As they print more and more of the unbacked paper, the eventual effect is catching up to it. Expect prices to continue to go up slowly until this problem is addressed. No currency in history has ever survived when it was printed out of thin air and backed by nothing. We will continue to update this story here on The Real News because this affects everyone. I'd like to give an update before we go off the air that I did contact Michael Reagan, spoke to Mr. Lynch. He stated that Mr. Reagan was out of the country, but he may join us next week. So we did get in contact with him. We'd like to let him have his time to speak and address what we were discussing last week. I would also like to report that we have a new sponsor, Sharps Hardware, near William R. Davey in Monksville. I would like to thank him and Al for supporting the truth. The Supreme Court D.C. gun ban ruling will be coming down first of the week, and we will report on this next week. This has a lot of ramifications to our civil liberties. Hey, are you with me today?
Yes, I am, Farron. How are you today?
Hey, good. How you doing?
This is Dave. I would like to comment on Dennis Kucinich's comments. I wish him the best of luck with this, but like your other caller, I don't think it's going to go very far. The main reason I'm calling is the Israeli practiced airstrikes yesterday got very little media attention.
Yeah, me and Brian actually both brought that story with us today, and I know exactly what you're talking about. We're probably not going to get to address it today, so you go ahead.
Well, it was kind of obvious what was going on. I heard about the Israeli airstrikes, and I heard that the stock market had taken quite a dive. So I watched ABC News last night. There was nothing about it at all. In fact, they blamed the dip in the stock market on the reduced sales of trucks by General Motors and Ford. Now, there's been reduced truck sales by General Motors and Ford for at least 6 or 8 months, probably a year. Now, why would they pick today to say reduced truck sales have affected the market? What actually affected the market was the prospect of turmoil in the Middle East again, once again, brought to us by the Israelis.
Well, I'd like to say that was not a small rehearsed attack. It was over 100 Israeli fighter jets took part in those maneuvers, so it was large-scale maneuvers.
Played down completely by the media. But it was interesting. It's an excellent example of how the media can twist and turn things to turn the decline of the stock market into a problem by the truck makers. And I'm sure if you talk to anybody that works on Wall Street, they would tell you it was because of the potential trouble in the Middle East that had nothing to do with truck sales.
Yeah, if you talk to anyone that works at any of the dealerships here in Statesville, I bet they'll tell you that large SUVs and large truck sales have been on the decline for a long while now.
Yeah,